RWBY Volume 2, World of Remnant, Episode 2, Kingdoms. Now, I did enjoy this episode, but I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as the first one because we didn't get as much information as we could have. Because in the first one, we got Dust, we learned about things that we haven't actually seen in the show, we learned about concepts that we may have seen, but we didn't really know a lot of the answers to. And in this one, we really just got small snippets of information. We heard names that we've heard before. We've learned about the military, which we knew that some people had, some people didn't. We did get a full map, which technically we've already had, but it was nice to see which cities were located, or I guess which kingdoms were located, which near which others. But it was much shorter than the last one. I can't say much shorter, but it was a little bit shorter than the last one. It didn't have too much information that I really found that appealing to me, because stuff about politics, like there's this council and then there's a sub-council, stuff like that didn't particularly interest me, but I did enjoy the small look into it. I think the most interesting part, of course, was them talking about the little bit of stuff outside of the different kingdoms with the little nomadic cities that, you know, come up overnight, and the same thing can happen where they can be destroyed overnight, which I would have to assume is due to the Grim creatures. But I enjoyed the episode for the little bit of extra that we got. I do wish it was more like the Dust stuff, where it's things that we've seen but we weren't really given full detail about them, like the Dust, like I said, explaining how some people would put dust within their clothing, which we may have seen, but we didn't really have that explanation, so we kind of have to guess, like, was it this, was it a semblance, was it them mixing dust with their clothing, or was it something completely new that we hadn't seen? So it was cool to get that information, and it kind of changes how you looked at some of the fight scenes in the show from both this season and last season. But this one didn't really give us anything extra, but I did enjoy it, of course. Any little extra snippet of information outside of the characters just mentioning the name of a city is really cool. But I do wish this one was a lot longer, and I wish it kind of focused more on the nomadic tribes and how some of them may have tried to rise and become like a fifth kingdom or something like that, but they were destroyed, or how some of the kingdoms may have had like warring factions in the past, and then they eventually decided, if we don't band together like we have now, we're all going to get screwed over and killed. So I would have loved more information like that instead of just really a retelling. It was sort of a conglomerate of all the information we have been given outside of, like I said, the little tribes that form outside of the walls. But I did enjoy the little information that we got. Overall, it was an okay episode. If you watch my review for the Dust one, I really did love that episode, even though it was only 2 minutes. I really enjoyed that one. And this one I do think was fairly mediocre, but I'm not gonna, of course, stop watching the show because of it. And I am excited to see what little snippet of information we get from the third episode, and when it's gonna come in between this season, because it always seems to happen right after something pretty big happens, like a big fight or something pretty dramatic happens, and then it's sort of the transition from the last little 3 or 4 episode story arc to the next 3 or 4 episode story arc. So I'm excited to see what we have for this one, but or for the next one. But I enjoyed the Dust episode much more than the Kingdom ones. Of course, comment below, let me know what you guys thought about it, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and I guess if you had to choose between watching this one and watching the Dust episode, which one would you say is your favorite and why? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.